All right. Good morning, Rob. Thanks so much for joining us here today. So today we're actually going to be talking with Rob Gintner. He is a real estate agent with Keller Williams in Minnesota, Twin Cities area. And he's been using video for probably around a year now. At least that's when I started working with you. How long have you been using video in your business for, though? Has it been just a year?
Yeah, it's really just been since January of last year. And a big part of the reason I started doing it was conversations I had with you, and I saw what you were doing, and it inspired me. So yeah, been about
Cool.
a year.
Awesome. Well, the first question I want to ask you, Rob, and I think kind of for this conversation, we'll see if we can go through these questions kind of quickly, speed round style. See how that goes. But let me ask you this: why was it you started using video in your business to begin with?
It was really to differentiate myself. I'm not a fan of cold calling or door knocking, and I knew I needed another stream of business, to keep my business afloat if I'm not going to do those things. And so video just kind of seemed like a natural kind of thing to start doing. It's something that scared me, and at the same time, it's something that excited me too, because like, ooh, I can make more control. I can have more control of my schedule and time, and still be, have something leverage technology to work for me through video, to try to start meeting people and start building relationships that way.
Yeah. Oh, well, and I know you use the product, BombBomb for video emails. Is there any other way that you use video in your business other than video emails?
Yeah, I do a lot of. I started a YouTube channel, and so I'll record stuff there, and then I use that content. What's the word? Excuse me, omni marketing, in a way. And so take a 3-minute video from there, and then I'll break it up into Facebook ads and on Instagram, make them lead generators. And at the same time, the emails not only to my clients, but also to other realtors when I'm presenting an offer. I'll shoot a quick little video so people can see and understand the context and tone of the email I'm sending them if we haven't had an opportunity to really chat, because we're in such a hot market. Things go so fast that sometimes you just don't get that opportunity,
Right.
and to best serve my clients. So yeah, so I would say Facebook ads, social media, not just with consumers either, just but with other agents, thinking partners with that I work with, vendors, lots of quick little text messages. People love that for updates. Yeah, happy birthday messages, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of taken over, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So, when you were getting started using video, what were some of the big challenges you went through to kind of get comfortable and adopt video more?
Great question. Some of the challenges I went through to adapt video was getting over my own insecurities of being on this little camera right here, not having the right backdrop, the setting, the whole 9 yards. Just, I think everything that anytime, I guess, how's a better answer that? It's probably the same question that everybody has. And I think probably you went through too when you first started doing it. I don't know for sure, but I assume it's just, how do I look on camera? I don't like my droopy eyes, or my eyes are red. I have allergies. It's like, you know what? Everybody does. So what? Just get over it. And I think it's actually been really freeing, to just letting myself be myself, and that whole saying to be authentic, just show up in the moment. I'm somebody who overanalyzes everything. So just to let go and just start hitting record and not worry about, too much other than making sure you have light on your face and not behind you, and just go for it, is really been really freeing, actually. And just and people are connecting to that more, which I've noticed too online, and even in social media, in my regular posts. More people that I haven't talked to in quite a while, like maybe 5-10 years, have kind of come out of the woodwork. So it's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you found this process you've gone through of being more comfortable showing up just as yourself on video? Have you found it's had any impacts on other areas of your life?
Yes. Yeah, it has. I think I'm a little bit more, I used to be, tend to be a little bit more cautious by nature and not take so much risk. And
Mhm.
I just recently went on vacation, and was like, you know what, just go for it. Just be in the moment. Go do some stuff that you normally want to do. And it's been great. It's been great. I've got some great memories now that I normally wouldn't have ever had if I hadn't just done it. And I kind of attribute that to just putting myself out there again. Yeah, being
That's,
in the moment.
yeah, that is so cool. All right, so you mentioned that your own insecurities were a big part of this. For you, was that mostly the insecurities, what I like to call physical insecurities, right? How I look, how I sound,
Mm,
is my back room messy, is the lighting good, is my camera quality enough, or is it more
yeah.
of the, I don't know, I guess the category would be mental and emotional insecurities, like
Oh,
who am I to have something to say, or nobody cares to hear what I have to say, or anything like that?
both. Yeah, really both. The first one being the physical setting, like it's like, oh, but I don't have some really fancy set, or I don't have a fancy camera or the setup or the microphone. It's like, well, I just use my headset now. And, it took some coaching to get over that. Working with my coach who really helped me understand how to do video and the setup. And I mean, I started out with lights and green screens and all this stuff. And I thought I had to get so fancy.
Yeah.
After the first 3 months of using all that, I haven't touched any of that since. So it's really just get a tripod and something to hold your camera on, and so it's steady and something that people can hear you. And so I could probably upgrade my microphone, but just start doing it. Like people want real content these days, especially in such a disconnected world that we live in. And it almost seems a little counterintuitive to do video then, but the real goal is to come from contribution and to help people, as many people as I can. Um, and the only way I can really do that is to show my personality is through video. So then that comes right into the emotional part of it too. Then right, the mental block, which was like, yeah, I've been doing this since 2000, but and since we live in real estate every day, we hear the terms, we hear the stats, we hear the data, we live in it, we're immersed, right?
Yep.
The general public isn't though, and we get tired of hearing the same things over and over. But most consumers don't have a clue what's going on. And that was probably one tidbit of information that or advice that was like, oh, well, that makes sense, because those are the people I'm trying to reach, right? Even the people in my sphere. Um, I've also learned since starting doing video last year that most people don't know that I still live in the Twin Cities. I thought I moved. I also learned that people thought I was a broker, which I am, but and that I wasn't selling real estate anymore, that I was just managing people.
Oh
And it's
wow.
like, oh, no, where did you ever hear that? Like, I have no idea where these rumors started.
Yeah.
But they actually prompted some videos for me to actually make. It's like, hey guys, I'm still here in the Twin Cities. I haven't gone anywhere, And so it's kind of been a fun conversation to have too. So it's been interesting in that part of the journey um,
It's
to
so
connect,
interesting.
reconnect with
So
people.
it must be kind of almost scary to you to think about, man, if I hadn't started doing video, how many deals would I have lost just because people thought I didn't live here anymore because they thought I wasn't actually selling anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Huh. Well, I've heard, different real estate coaches use the expression "don't be a secret agent" before, right? And I guess that's what they're talking about,
Yeah,
right? Be
right.
visible
Yeah,
enough that people realize that you still live here and you still sell real estate.
exactly. If people don't know who you are or that you're actually in the business, you're a secret agent. And while secret is great if you work in government sometimes at FBI or CIA, but now in real estate, you
Yeah.
can't just hide behind the phones and in your homes and wait for the phone to call or to ring, because it's not going to happen. Not in today's world, especially.
Now, something you mentioned there kind of made me think there's a lot of people I've worked with, and one of the hangups they went through with video is they didn't think that their particular career, their profession, their day to day life, the work they didn't think it was interesting enough to warrant making video content for.
Mm,
And it seemed like you were kind of mentioning that too, right? With you guys are so saturated in real estate
yeah.
stuff, it seems boring to you, but it might not be boring to any other people. Do you have any particular advice or guidance or anything like that that you could give to someone who is also struggling with feeling like they have nothing worthwhile, nothing worth talking about?
Absolutely. Forget that. Get rid of that negative saboteur in your mind and do it. You We each have our own personality. Like there's no one else in the world that is you, or there never will be. So don't hide that gift from the world. Um, and that's really probably the best way I can put it, because every person, every realtor looks at real estate a little different. We all run our business a little different. We all connect with different groups of people. We're all trying to help different types of people. And that's the beautiful thing. There's enough business for everybody to go around. And I would say just start recording, even if you think you look like an idiot. That's okay, because you're not, first of all. And second of all, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, and you might just learn a few things about yourself too, which is probably the best part of it, in my opinion. So,
Anything you've learned about yourself since you started using video?
uh, that I'm a control freak. Yeah, yeah. like try to over control everything. Well, that doesn't look right. I don't want that image out there. That does not fit with my brand. It's like, child, please just put it out there. Nobody else cares. Like it's you are who you are.
Yeah.
And even if there are things that you don't like, hey, I don't love that I have crow's feet or I have the wrinkles in my forehead on camera, but it is what it is, and that's what people see every day. The only person I was fooling was myself, and that's okay. So the receding hairline and everything, and yeah, it's just accepting who you are, I think, and who I am is has probably been the best part of this journey for me. Yeah, just being able to be me. Um, yeah.
Cool. Now, something that a lot of people also, I've heard is they struggle to put out video content because they feel like, A, they have nothing to say, but also they feel like
Right.
someone else is already saying all those things and someone else is already doing a better job of it anyways, right? So, if you're a sales coach and a sales trainer, it can be hard to come up with content that hasn't been made already by 10 other sales trainers giving the exact same advice and probably doing a
Right.
better job of it with better produced videos than you are. And you may have gone through that with real estate, right? Because a lot of real estate agents
Oh,
all talking about the same market in the Twin Cities, and maybe they are doing videos that intimidate you. Did you
yeah.
notice that at all?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I experience that every day. Yeah. And then I always have to just remind myself, like, turn off that negative voice in your head. And sure, they may be doing it a certain way that appeals to me, that I would like to have that style. I'd love to have that video editing budget, you know? And at the same time, don't let that stop you from just doing your thing. Someday it may get to that. The point is, though, is that you're not trying to touch everybody. Um, you just need to hit a certain amount of people, right, to meet your goals, to help other people. And yeah, so I mean, but I struggle with that same thing every day. I'm in YouTube for real estate agents classes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't post my video. Like, I don't have those kinds of graphics. I don't have that kind of editing. Like, no. And I have to get over that, because it's silly.
Yeah.
Everybody I know isn't watching those videos. You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean, we all have a different group of people we're connected to. Um, and so what if somebody else, I might have a video that I think is better. The next person who sees it might think mine's better. So we have to not project what our thoughts and feelings are of something um, out into the public sphere, because what we produce might be better to somebody in somebody else's eyes. So you just got to do it. You just yeah, turn off the negative voice and do it.
Cool. I'm kind of curious. You've used expression "turn off the negative voice" a few times. For you, would you say it's turning off, like you just straight up say, "Nope, turning that down," or are you replacing it with something else, or do you
Oh,
actually make it go away?
yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, that voice never goes away. I think the majority of people have that voice in their mind, always kind of trying to keep you in that safe space, right? Of what you're comfortable with and what and doing something different scares that subconscious voice in your mind. And it's really just replacing it, and saying, hey, thanks for coming to the party and sharing your little bit of 2 bits of not advice, but your opinion, negative voice, and now we're going to put you over here. Thanks so much. And now I'm going to go do what's really what I know is best for me, which is growth and experience. It's just like when people like want to do some big daring thing, like go skydiving or something. The time I did it, I was scared to death, and the whole way up, I was like, no, 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 no. And then I'm finally hanging over the edge of the plane, and I'm looking straight down, like, okay, well, this is either going to go really good or really bad. And you know what? It turned out to be one of the best things I ever did. And so the stuff that scares you the most when you hear that voice in your head, you really have to work, at least I do, I really have to work to calm that voice down. Um, and not so much ignore it, but acknowledge it and then move through it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
great question.
Can you think of an example or two of a bit of self-talk which is very persistent, and then tell us what you replaced it with?
Um, some negative talk. Well, that's a good question. A couple bits of advice. Well, I would have to say, boy, it's just even getting on to do this morning. It's like, I had a really late night last night, working until about 2 in the morning, like we talked about before we jumped on here. And I was like, I should call him and see if we could just reschedule, like, oh, I'm so tired. And, I got to get ready. I got like 15 minutes, overslept. And I was just about like, no, and just get up, turn on the phone. It is what it is. And it's going to be fine. The faster you get something done, the better. The more you procrastinate on it, the harder it becomes, and the less you like the finished product. Um, I think some of the other, so behind me you can see some signs that my younger sister, and my dad actually make these signs now, and they sell them as my
Yeah.
dad's retired. And you'll see the one right here that just says "so there," and that was my grandmother saying whenever she was about to lose an argument and she wanted to get the last word in, it was just like "so there." And that's kind of the one of the one of the things that I say to my mind when I hear the negative voice in my mind talking about whatever it might be, like, yeah, you don't want to record that video today, or oh, that content, you don't have a polished enough script, right, to go onto camera. It's like, well, so there, just leave me alone, negative voice. I got this. Just it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, and then learning different things. Yeah, I think, yeah. So, so there is one of them, and then the one right next to that said, "Hey, you're crazy," is showing you might want to tuck that back in. Um, so when you start, and that one is just really about uh, when I start overthinking everything and I'm trying to overproduce or overmanage a task, like getting on video or my showings with clients.
Mhm.
My car is not clean enough, or oh, these people have a lot of money and I don't have a nice enough car or something. It's like, forget it. You know what? They picked you for a reason. There's a connection there, and just go with it. Like, forget about all the negative talk in your mind, and just like I said, replace it with, for me, it's humor. I guess kind of replaces that negative voice at first,
Oh
making
yeah.
fun of myself or laughing at myself about it, because life's too short. And the fact that we're on this spherical orb flying and hurling through space around a big giant glowing other planet out, star, and we're not hurling into space ourselves is kind of crazy. So hey, in the bigger scheme of things, you got this. Like, you're good. Just calm down, do it, move forward.
It is interesting. I don't know if it's something that is, a personality trait of salespeople, or if it's something about the culture and the work that salespeople have to do. But I've often noticed that for all of us, like, humor is our antidote to the shit we got to deal with on a daily basis. So,
Yeah.
and everyone does that to an extent, but I've noticed every place I go, like the sales team is very heavy on using humor as a coping mechanism.
Really? I
Oh
never
yeah,
noticed that.
absolutely.
That's interesting insight. I like that.
And it's interesting because, like, to me, it's so second nature. Like, humor is the default coping mechanism. Um, but a lot of times I end up using humor in situations where other people don't expect humor to be appropriate. So that gets interesting.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a deflection, right? Because we're taking the focus off ourselves and our feelings, and trying not to allow other people, when we're outwardly doing humor, or trying to relax other people in the situation. If we see that they're tense and you're perceptive enough, you can, like, oh, I need to help that person relax. I'll throw in a joke here, make some kind of comment, and like you said, sometimes it's not the other people don't find it appropriate to make dark humor in the moment, and that's okay. You know what? That's still just a part of who you are, and if it lands great, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. Um, it's just it'll be okay, and there's no reason to apologize for trying to help people, in my opinion, in that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've talked a lot about some of the negative self-talk that you had, some of the struggles you had, how you've worked through them. What
Yeah.
are some things that maybe you're still struggling with and that you haven't worked through yet?
Wow. Well, I'm going deep here on this question. Yeah, that's a good one. Some struggles. See, this is a good one. I have some more self-learning to do, right? I would say I still struggle with the content part of it. Like, is my voice good enough? Not the sound of my voice, mind you, but the content that I'm putting out there, the
Yeah.
my experience level, doing this since for 19 years overall. Do I still have that authority? Do I have the right as a career? Like, I still feel like I've only been doing this for 3 or 4 years, and then I do the math. It's like, no, you've been doing this for 19 years. It's like, oh, where did that time go? Yeah. So, and just sharing those experiences, and doing so that's respective of your confidentiality, I think is something that I need to move into next. The storytelling part of it. Um, Also, as far as like figuring out what comes through video, I think some of the things that I'm still working through is, yeah, I mean, I, I don't know that's anything new, and I'm sure things will pop up. So this is a really great question. You're really making me think on this one. Um, it's still just a lot of the same questions. Like even for this, I'm like, where am I going to set up my camera, and where's my light coming from, and thinking about all these things. I haven't had my coffee yet, and it's still some of the same things. Every time I get on camera, I have the same thoughts that I still have to just again walk myself through to get over, and be like, you're fine. Like, just stop. Like, um, and so I don't know if that process or that part of the journey will ever end. I hope so. I think it's gotten easier. I can move through it faster, so hopefully that will stop one day. But in the meantime, yeah, I think it's it's knowing that it's okay to not have it be perfect. I think is probably the biggest part. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I think that's really what it comes down to. Don't worry about it being perfect, because nobody is, and nobody expects you to be. I think we're just our worst own critic, and just constantly moving through that is part of the journey of life. And you'll be surprised at how much you actually enjoy it once you get into it. There's challenges for sure, and at the same time, you'll definitely find things out about yourself that you may not like at first, and then but it's just accepting them or changing them if that's what you need to do. But don't change who you are or what you're about or how you look just to please a camera, this little pinhole thing,
Yeah.
because everybody sees you for who you are, and sometimes that exposes things that you don't really love about yourself, and but also makes you rise to be a better person. Um, yeah, that's a great question. I'm gonna maybe that's podcast two for us.
All
Continued
right.
one of
Well, that's more.
what's the journey after that. Yeah, because that's a really good question, Jonathan. I appreciate you asking
Well,
that one.
what I love about what you shared there, Rob, is I think there's an assumption a lot of people make when they think about putting themselves on camera and all these emotions come up and they go, whew, camera's just not for me. Video's just
Yeah,
not for me because I have all these feelings. And when they look online and they see people posting videos, what they think is, see, I wish I could be like that. That guy isn't nervous to be on camera at all. I wish I could be a video person like he is, but unfortunately I can't because I have all these emotions in the way. So I guess video isn't for me. What people don't realize is that that guy over there who's posting publicly is going through the exact same set of emotions or a similar set of emotions.
totally.
He's just committed to working through it and found some techniques to help him work through it. But one, I guess, slogan I keep running through my head, which I realize I think is helpful for other people too, is that the fact that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling is not evidence that I'm on the wrong path or that I'm doing the wrong thing, right? So for
That's a
me, it's
good
like,
one.
I feel this crazy imposter syndrome when I take on ambitious new projects, when I launch my own podcast, when I post stuff publicly on LinkedIn, when I start partnerships with people who are way outside my league. But
Right.
I just had to remind myself, John, the fact you're feeling this way is not evidence you're on the wrong track. In fact, I'm starting to think
Yeah.
it's evidence I'm on the right track.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. No, I applaud you for that, because that's absolutely the truth. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Cool. So closing remarks here, I guess last question I have for you, Rob, is what are the benefits you've seen in your life and in your business since you've started using video?
What have I seen as the benefits in my life and business since using video? Um, it's inspired me to lose weight.
There we go.
So there's that. And that's a journey, for sure. Especially as we get older, things you just can't eat as much as you used to. And I love food because I'm a stress eater. Um, so the personal side, that's a big part of it. It's also shown me to show up a little bit more, be a little bit more present, even in my personal relationships with people. It's encouraged me to actually reach out to people who may like have commented, or I saw maybe they saw my video or something on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and just have that conversation, even if it's been 10 or 15 years since we've talked. Even if it was just a casual friendship from back in the days when we used to go to the bar, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's surprising, the conversations that spring forth from doing this. And people are like, hey, great job, it's fun to see your video, keep them coming, you know, or and just the encouragement. And so that kind of translates into business then too, right? Because then things are coming, conversations are coming forth from people that I never expected, or maybe I even honestly forgot about, you know. Not for any particular reasons other than our worlds haven't been in sync for a
Sure.
decade or more.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. So from that perspective, it's in closing. You just don't know where it's going to come from, like what's going to happen when you start doing it. And my fear being, oh, people are going to judge me and everything. And so what if they do? That's their problem. You know what? Other people. I love the saying that I've learned since being at Keller too, is that what other people think of me is none of my business.
Yep.
And I think that probably in closing is the best advice I could give anybody, is just what other people think of you is none of your business. Don't worry about it. Just do what's right for you. Share the content, share your knowledge, share your information, because there's people out there that need it. And it doesn't matter how polished or unpolished your video editing or graphics, or you know how clever everything is. It's getting the data out there for your consumer. Because are you really being a true fiduciary for your consumer and clients if you're not? And I think that was probably one of the things that I'm like, I need to reach more people, because I have a high standard for how I run my business, and making sure that people know what they need to know before they need to know it, so they can make the decisions that are right for them. Nice sales pitch, right?
Yeah.
And so there's the humor. and But it's true. You need to get it out there, and if you don't, then somebody else will. And why should they be the ones that get that business if you know, when you know that in your heart that you're probably the better fit for them.
Yeah.
It's just that the other person took the chance and you haven't. So I say, stop what you're doing, turn on your camera, start recording some videos, and go for it. Because the journey, that's the fun part. It's scary, but it's also really fun and rewarding. So definitely do it.
Thanks so much, man. That's awesome. If
Yeah.
somebody's listening to this podcast and they want to connect with you either because they think you're a cool guy and want to chat, or of course, if they want to buy or sell a home in the Twin Cities, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach me on my website at twincitiestransitionagents.com. It's probably the easiest way. You can also email me at robg@kw.com. Yeah, those are probably the two best ways, because all my contact information is on my website. So
Yeah.
twincitiestransitionagents.com is probably the easiest way.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah.
Awesome talking with you.
Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. You too.